welcome. I just love that intro, don't you? Of course, maybe I'm biased, since my name's on it. Anyways, what is attraction? Do women feel attraction? Well, of course they do, don't be stupid. But why do women feel attraction? How do you get her attracted to you? What makes a woman perhaps want to kiss you? Or have sex with you? Or what makes a woman say, I love you, I want to be with you the rest of my life, and have your children? There's got to be a little something to that, and today we're going to talk about how to make a woman attracted to you, what you do, more importantly what you don't do, and before we get into the real specifics of that, we need to talk a little bit about bucket theory. So what is bucket theory? That's a weird name, isn't it? And well, men typically get attracted to women kind of instantaneously. Right? We see a woman, we go, oh, she's hot, I want to stick my dick in her, or at least ask her out on a date, or whatever, it's kind of like, bam, we see her, we're there. Women get attracted to men slowly, and if you kind of imagine I have a bucket here, which I don't have, maybe there's a trash can somewhere, there isn't, but if I have a bucket here, kind of is when you do attractive stuff, it tosses pebbles in the bucket and slowly fills up. And when you do unattractive stuff, it takes pebbles away and it slowly goes down. And when she gets attracted enough to you, if this is like an online dating site, she'll, reply to your message. So you send her a message, and if it's good, if there's a couple pebbles in there, she'll look at your profile. The profile, if it's good, is going to throw more pebbles in there, and then she'll reply to you. You talk to her for a little bit, and you're filling this up a little bit more and more, and then she'll go out with you. And if you ask a woman out and she says no, if you ask her for a phone number, that just means that the bucket isn't high enough yet, and you gotta fill in more and more, and then when you go out with her, if it's a good date, and you guys are having fun, there's a lot of chemistry, the bucket's gonna fill higher and higher, and then she'll kiss you, and then if you keep filling up the bucket, she'll sleep with you, and I'll tell you what, if you can get a woman to sleep with you, she'll be your girlfriend, pretty much every time. I'm sure there's some women out there who would sleep with a guy and not want to be with him. I come from San Francisco, so I'm sure there's probably a lot of women there, but I haven't personally seen them. They'll pretty much, if they sleep with you, say, oh well, I guess the bucket's filled enough, I'll date this guy, which is pretty cool. Now at the same time though, if the bucket gets too low, she'll reject you. So online, this is very, very, very easy. If you just don't fill it up, a little bit, or you do something weird, and the bucket just gets a little bit low, she'll just, stop talking to you. I'm sure you've had that happen. You're talking to a girl and she just goes away for whatever reason. Well, that's because you said something stupid, or at least not attractive, and a big pile of pebbles ran out, and she was like, oh, well, I kind of, lost his feeling. She doesn't know what's, she doesn't know, oh, he ran out the bucket, right? But she kind of, realizes, oh, I don't really like talking to him anymore, and she'll just stop talking to you. Now, in the real world, of course, that's not going to happen because she's not a bitch, right? She'll just sit there politely and talk to you, but then she'll just go away and not be attracted to you. If you ask for a phone number, she'll turn you down or something like that, but she'll just be really, really nice about it. Unless you really, really empty that bucket, and then she might get a little bit bitchy and ask you to leave. But anyways, what do most guys try to do when they meet a woman, either in the real world or online? Well, they kind of try to remain neutral. Right? They're afraid of rejection, so these guys don't want to, try something a little too risky. They don't want to come off, a little too cocky and might, get her to yell at him or something. We kind of try to stay away from anything that's high risk and maybe high reward. Anything that could get us yelled at or thought weird about. And so most guys will message a girl something like, hi, hey, how are you? How are you doing today? Do you have any fun plans for the weekend? What do you do for work? Where do you go to school? How do you like it? And it's just very, very neutral. Same in the real world. We'll go up to a woman and say, maybe you're pretty. Maybe, you're cute. I thought you were attractive at best. You're just hi. And then they try to remain neutral. And this doesn't actually remain neutral. The bucket should go down and down and down the more that you try to come across as just like a normal, regular guy. And that's because she knows you're attracted to her and she's hitting on you. Or you're hitting on her. Maybe if you were in an interview setting where there was, kind of like this professionalism, or you had like a different reason for talking to her, then, just that you thought she was cute, maybe this would work and that would actually kind of not fill the bucket or delete it. But if you approach a woman in a coffee shop, and especially if you do it on an online dating site where the whole point of being on there is to meet a woman, she knows that you're hitting on her, and by remaining neutral, it's kind of like it's like a wussy thing to do, and that's an old David D. Angelo line for guys who are both a wuss and a pussy. But it's true. It's not attractive. It's not exciting. It's this guy who's afraid of rejection, and that will lower the bucket and lower it until she rejects you. And of course, if you do it online, she'll just usually not reply to you at all, unless she had like a really boring day, or she's new to the site and she's being nice, or she's really desperate, or sometimes if she's a guy and she's trying to scam you, or trying to just maybe pretending to be a woman. That does happen out there. So in the real life, by the way, if you do this and you see that girl more often, you will wind up in the friend zone. And if you ever wondered, how did I get in this friend zone? Now you know it's by remaining too neutral. And if you actually try to go and do some of the stuff we'll talk about later, and do these attractive things, and it didn't work, God forbid, which it usually does, so then, she'll reject you or something, maybe, but you won't be in that friend zone. And if it does work, which again it usually does, well, then she'll laugh, then there'll be this chemistry, and the bucket will fill up, and you just have to get it filled up enough so that she'll go out with you. That's really your only job here. So, moving on, you see me looking down because I got my nice sheet of notes here of what to talk about here. Your profile is very, very important, and now you know why, because it fills up that bucket. So if she goes to your profile and she sees you, a nice picture of you, and you look like you're a well-put-together guy, not maybe the most attractive guy, but at least you've got a style together and you're doing something fun, like maybe you're cooking, or maybe you're out with friends at a bar, or maybe you're wrestling a mountain lion, or having tea with a mountain lion. Pretty much anything with a mountain lion, you can't really go wrong. Well, that's going to fill up the bucket, and she sees like 4 of these photos, and then she sees a profile that's not neutral, but maybe funny, and a little bit of witty, and got some kind of edge, sense of humor to it. Well, then that's going to fill up more and more and more, and by the time she's done reading it, not only is she going to reply to your message, but there's very, very little that you have to do from there. And that's why you'll see experts like me and some of the other people who are out there talk to a woman for only 5 minutes before getting her number. And, it's kind of astounding. At least it would have been astounding to me when I first started this, where I could talk to a woman for hours and hours and hours and get nowhere. How did they talk to them for 45 minutes? That's because that profile did a lot of that work for them. And because women are online, or, there for a reason, they want to meet a guy, so it's a little bit easier, and of course, that's why we like online. So again, we get back to the original question of what causes attraction. What fills up the bucket? What can I say, Adam? What should I say to her if I should say hi and how are you and all this other stuff? So, and I have to get them. Most men are attracted right away, largely on looks. The reason this is usually so hard for men, and what you have to do to fill up the attraction, is that men typically view relationships as kind of like a business agreement. It's very weird when you think about it. We'll even say to a woman, hey, go out with me, I will buy you dinner. I will give you this, and I will pay attention to your feelings, and I will listen to you and try to support you, and I won't ask for anything in exchange. I won't ask for sex. I won't ask, you to do, listen to my feelings, though I want you to. I kind of want your acceptance and your approval, and, I kind of want to cuddle with you and have you rest your head in your chest and tell me that you're so happy I'm there, and I can hold you and you're being like a little ball of neediness together, just saying, I love you so much. And if you were to give me these things, I'll, buy stuff for you and do all this other stuff. And when that doesn't work, when we get a lot of rejection in our life, we kind of tend to amp it, right? We say to women, well, if that wasn't enough for you, well, I will give you even more. I will buy you more stuff, and I'll be even less than you. We'll never have to have sex at all. Or when we do, I will completely please you. You don't have to please me at all. And every time we go out, you get to decide what we do. You decide where we go for dinner, and you can decide what shows we watch, and you decide all these other things. And the only thing I really ask is for that acceptance and approval again. And what this does is it massively, and without a doubt, turns women off entirely. And that's because women do not find relationships to be kind of like a business engagement. They find it to be like a game. And if you imagine playing chess with someone, and they go, oh, you're really good at this. Oops, I made a bad move here. Oh, you took my queen. You're so good at this. Let's play again. And they keep just conceding to you, basically, right? They keep making it easy for you to win. Well, you wouldn't really want to play chess with that person, would you? Sure, they're a nice guy. You wouldn't really want to hurt their feelings. You just kind of try to come up with some other excuse to not play chess. You wouldn't really be like, look, I don't like playing chess with you, because that's kind of, a little harsh rejection. But that's basically what happens. When guys try to give up all their power, and say to these women that I will get you these things, I will give you more and more and more things, they're basically like a guy playing chess who keeps conceding. And women hate it. They hate it because to them it's a game, it's fun. And the game, by the way, in case you're curious of how to play this game, is you want me more than I want you. So get out like a pen, paper, whatever, and write that down, and that's the name of the game. And if you could get a woman to think in her head, or believe, or in any way indicate to her at all that she wants you more than you want her, that's like a point for you. That's filling up the bucket. And if you indicate to her that you want her more than she wants you, well, that's decreasing the bucket. And she's going to play this game back with you, you'll notice, and I'll talk about a little bit exactly how to do that. And she can't really get enough of this game. I will tell you, it's the most fun thing in the world for a woman when you're kind of teasing her, when you're kind of, making fun of her, like she's like, coming on to you, and maybe she compliments you, and you say, well, don't think that this means I'm going to sleep with you, right? That's kind of funny. She offers to buy you a drink, and it's going to take more than that to get into my pants. You're kind of indicating that she's trying to hit on you, right? This is funny things that we could do. And maybe in this little scenario, when I'm doing it to an imaginary person, doesn't come off all that great, but these are. And she'll love it. In fact, I was going to say it's kind of like playing fetch with a dog, right? Where he'll just play it all day with you until you get bored. And I think a better analogy is it's like dangling a string in front of a cat. I'll tell you why, because if you ever dangle a string in front of a cat, you'll see they'll go apeshit for it, right? They'll just love it. You can dangle that string, and I'll try to catch it, and it will love it all day. But what happens if that cat ever catches the string? What happens if you stop dangling it? It gets bored, right? As soon as you stop dangling it, it gets bored and it walks away. And what guys do, if you were a guy, which I assume you are, and you knew nothing about cats except that you wanted them to like you, and you saw another cat guy dangling a string in front of the cat, maybe, if you're a particularly logical guy, you would say to yourself, well, that cat really wants that string. And that guy is not letting that cat get that string. He's an asshole. He's a jerk. I'd let that cat get that string. And you might go up to the cat, and you might say, here, cat, have this string. I will give you the string. Look how nice a guy I am. I'm giving you string. I can tell you want it. And if that doesn't really work on the cat, which it won't, you might go, well, I will give you more string. I will buy you all the yarn in the world. I will buy you all the string. Look at it. And the cat won't like that. What the cat does like is you dangling that string and not letting the cat catch it. And that's the same with women. When you see a guy teasing a woman and kind of making fun of her and, coming off a little bit cocky, and when you're, kind of nice guy that we tend to be, right? And you don't really know how women work. You will look at that and be like, he's being a jerk. He's not being nice. And then you'll go up to her and you'll say, I will be so nice to you. I will never act that way. And it's pretty much the same thing as going up to a cat and saying, I will not dangle that string. The cat would not like it. She would not like it. You could tell that she'd like it because she's laughing and giggling at that guy and hangs around with him a lot. And then he ends up dating her, sleeping with her, and you're wondering why he got the girl and not you, right? So, you want me more than I want you. If you could convince every woman of that, you'll be set for life. So how do you do that? How do you play that game precisely? We're finally getting that. Well, there are about, a couple things that women find attractive, but I'll tell you a couple of them. Confidence. Confidence is very good. You already know this, but now you kind of know why it's good, because if you approach a woman with confidence, you're pretty much saying, I believe that you're going to be attracted to me. I know this because other women have been attracted to me in the past. And you kind of, set that right. She'll be like, okay, what's up with this guy? He doesn't actually seem that into me. He seems really confident to himself, but he does think I'll be really interested in him. It's very, very attractive. Another one, in fact, maybe the biggest one, is high social status. So women are pretty much attracted to guys who have high social status. And this is not saying money, right? Money is not social status. Having a really cool job is not social status. Those will help, but the rest are really, really, really minor things. She'd much rather date the really cool guy who works at Walmart than the kind of nerdy guy who works at NASA and makes a lot of money and drives the Mars rover and stuff like that. Aloofness is another one. So being aloof is kind of like not being too attached to her. Now, we can see why, right? When you're aloof and you kind of don't take the conversation too seriously, or at least it appears that way, when you don't seem too interested in her or too attached to the outcome, you're implying that you're not really all that interested in her. You're interested enough to talk to her, but maybe not that interested. And now she likes you for that. Teasing, as we mentioned, is the cat with the string. She cannot get enough of it. Tease girls at all possible possibilities. Never stop. Cocky and funny. This is another one of those old David D'Angelo stuff, where what you do is you say something cocky that makes a girl kind of, oh wow, that's like really cocky, but it's funny, so it's okay. It's not going to come off as being an asshole. It comes off as this interesting guy who's, maybe not afraid to offend me. That's another one that's really good. So, let's give you some examples. One of my favorite also pickup lines ever is to go up to a girl and say, hi, I'm a very attractive man. I just wanted you to meet me. And you see that mentions all the right things all the right way. That's very confident. That's very cocky and funny. It's kind of teasing her, right? It's kind of taking the initiative from her. Other things, like that is anything where you could take over the girl's spots. I got one written out for you. You could say to her online, it's so hard to be a guy on here. All these girls just wanting to get into my pants, asking for my kicks so they can send me vag pics. You're lucky to be a girl. You don't have to deal with any of that. Right? That's really funny too. Right? Anytime you could do that, when we say she's hitting on you, like, she asked for your phone number, you go, okay, but don't ask me to send you nudes. Hilarious. And I do like saying hilarious with a straight face there. Anytime, you bend over and then you're like, are you looking at my ass? I'm not just a piece of meat. I have feelings, When you walk down the street with a girl, I highly suggest hiding behind a corner. So you're walking hand in hand, she's talking, and then you just kind of duck out and hide behind a corner. And she'll stop, and then she'll look around, and then she'll kind of realize that you went somewhere. She'll come back and she'll find you. And she'll say, like, what are you doing? And you're like, oh yeah, I'm sick of you. And she'll go, what? And you go, you're really boring, and you're ugly, with your perky tits and your kissable lips, and that's hilarious, again, right? And she'll laugh and she'll get it, but, it's kind of funny because you're ditching her, right? That's not something a needy guy would do. That's not something a guy who really wants you to do. Or sometimes you open the door for her and she's like, oh, thank you, and she goes through, and then you close the door and you kind of run off and she'll chase you down the streets.
Welcome back. What happened was the camera we were using cut off, so it's back to the old standby of PowerPoint presentation. On the plus side of this, you no longer have to listen to that very annoying background noise, which was what happened was the office we were in pumped in white noise artificially just because they noticed it made their workers more productive, and it's the type of thing that when you're there, you don't notice at all, but when you're hearing on a video, comes off loud and clear. So anyways, we're going to tell you a little bit more of the humorous, high status, cocky and funny teasing lines that you could say to her, for example. And maybe before that, you might notice by my 100% high quality, very, very, very professional production standards here that I am not a rich man. In fact, I sell an ebook for about $20 online, and I sell profile makeovers for about $150, and I make them that cheap so that you can afford them, and so you don't have any excuse for not getting the help that you need and deserve. But it does not bring in all the moolah. And you might notice that women do not care. They simply does not matter. You do not need to be wealthy or that particularly attractive, for that matter, to get women. I've lived in a basement, well, looking similar to how I have now, where I didn't even have an oven. I had a hot plate, and women didn't care. They would still sleep with me in that basement. So, a couple of things that you could continue to say to her is tell her, as you see here, that you're breaking up. This is an old one, but a good one, and one that you could do both, online and off, and not something you should do, particularly when you're in a relationship, though it works then there too, but something you do after just a couple minutes of meeting her, if she says pretty much anything that is dorky or nerdy or just something you may theoretically not like. So if she tells you she can't cook, you just say, oh, I'm breaking up with you. And she was like, what? Oh. And you go, yeah, I need a woman who can cook and clean and who makes a lot of money because I just want to be, a around the house guy, and she's got to take care of me. And if that's not you, I have to move on. Sorry. Pick out things to make fun of her. So these will just be anything noticeable that she might have, like a cute smirk or a cute laugh, and you could just be like, you laugh like a chipmunk. Or if it's online, there's tons and tons and tons of things on a profile, but a word of warning here, ignore your first instinct, because the first thing that you see is something she'll probably have millions of comments by from a million guys. So if her profile name something unusual like fuck off, every guy's commented on it, so do not comment on that. If she has her age range set at 57, every guy has mentioned it, so don't mention it all. But if it's something somewhat subtle, like her face only, like you can only see the left side of her face in every single picture, you ask her, hey, I notice that, I only see the left side of your face in every single picture. What's up with the other side? You got a horrible scar? Is there a Phantom of the Opera thing going on? Something like this, and that will come off, of course, very, very well. You could call her a nerd or a geek or smelly. Smelly is a particularly good one online because, obviously, you can't smell her there. So, if you're talking to her and you're just goofing around and you're teasing her, and you could be like, well, I mean, you come off kind of cool and cute, but I can tell there's something wrong with you. You probably really smell, don't you? You probably just stink up the place, haven't showered in months. And she'll be like, no, I shower, ha ha ha, funny. And then for the rest of the interaction, just toss in smelly there every once in a while, So a little while later, you're talking to her, and you just say like, well, listen, smelly, I gotta go for a second, but before I do, I want to get your number, so I could call you later and ask you out. Again, we're not trying to pretend there's any other reason for getting her number or anything like that. In person, you could always continue this, calling her a nerd and a geek and everything like that. Tell her that she's too shy is another good one, especially if, you're talking online again or in person, and you kind of make mention of the fact that you might be hitting on her, or you might be thinking of asking her out or something like that, and she kind of, teases you back, which she will do. And it's very, very good if you start teasing her and she starts teasing you back. That means it's on. And so you might say, like, I don't even know why I'm attracted to you, because you're clearly a big geek. You're just like this little nerd who I usually don't go for with all. And she'd just be like, so you're attracted to my geekiness? And you go like, oh, I get it, you're shy. Yes, this is me hitting on you. I know you probably don't get a lot of guys hitting on you, and it just might come off a little bit weird. So just know that I'm doing it. It's cool. It's normal. It happens to girls sometimes. That's really funny. Make fun of her mannerisms. So if she says or a lot or something like that, just start inserting it into the conversation. Just say, well, anyways, I was thinking, this blah, 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 And you could do these, and you could come up with your own. These are not everything, but I did think these were some good examples more to show you what you can do, to give you, what was out there, than to give you everything you could do. Obviously, use these. They're wonderful. And I tried to give you ones that won't, be used up by everybody watching this video going out there and calling her a nerd or a geek or smelly. Maybe too many people will, and she'll be like, you're the fourth person who called me smelly. And if that happens, just change it to something else, like stinky, or any other possible spaz, or anything else that you want to do. But while moving on, we're about to see, and I'm not going to switch to the slide yet because I don't want you reading everything and getting ahead of yourself, but we're about to see things that you should not do. And these are probably even more important than things that you should do. And the reason why is because guys, believe it or not, will pretend to be cooler than they are to get girls to go out with them. I know, it's incredible, right? Who would have guessed that guys would pretend stuff, and try to act cool to get girls to get out? But women have figured this out, and they have realized that often when they're talking to a guy, he may just be acting that way. And if she happens to notice that he's maybe has this little thing where he's, maybe a little bit of a geek, maybe a little bit of a wuss, maybe a little bit of a nice guy, or anything unattractive, it really, I'll say empties the buckets there. It really ruins your chances. It could just be a couple of these things, not even one or two. And even if she's known you for weeks, it could make her lose all attraction for you. And I have horror stories of this. The worst one being when I had a girl in my bed ready to sleep with me, having known me for actually months and months and months. She was part of my peer group, as we call it. And she hit on me first because I was coming off attractive, but I wasn't that good at this stuff yet. Actually, I was just kind of learning this stuff, but it works so well that, you'll get girls very easily when you start using it. And while she was, trying to sleep with me in my bed, mind you, which should have been very obvious to anyone who wasn't me, because I was so unused at that time to women trying to sleep with me, I was kind of insecure, and I decided to test her, as sometimes insecure guys do, and I went out and squeezed her hand. And a lot of times we do this, where we're like not sure if a woman wants to kiss us, not sure if she wants to get physical, so we kind of, I'll say hesitantly, touch her or grope her in some way, or at least, make physical contact in this really kind of awkward way. And that's all it took, was my awkwardly squeezing her hand. And a little while after that, you could tell the mood shifted and she made an excuse and left. And the next time I saw her, it was very, very awkward and stilted, and she didn't like me after that because of that just one thing. So stay away from hesitantly and awkwardly touching a girl or kind of testing to see if they want to get physical with you. And some us to stay away from is wussy stuff. I think I mentioned this as an old David D'Angelo thing, but I think it's a good summary. It's between everything that's between a wuss and a pussy. You just want to stay away from altogether. Anything self-deprecating that makes you come off as lower status. Sometimes us guys notice that, especially when we're nerds or geeks or nice guys and we haven't really got the girl that much, that if we kind of make fun of this, then people will laugh. And we mistake laughter for self-deprecation, for what I would call laughter for when you're teasing her. They're not the same. And when you're using self-deprecating laughter, you're making her like you less, be attracted to you less, I should say, but think you're funny. And when you're kind of doing the opposite and doing, I'll call it self-appreciating laughter, you're making her like you more, or be attracted to you more and think you're funny. Or we'll say cocky and funny will make her like you more and think you're funny. Other times we might be using self-deprecating stuff to kind of lessen rejection. Like you might have messaged a woman online, and if you haven't, many guys have, that will say, you probably won't respond to this, blah, 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 blah. And then when she doesn't respond, it doesn't feel as bad. Or we might be you might be hit on by a bunch of guys, and there's no reason to respond to me, there's no reason to like me, blah, 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 blah. This is awful, and if you don't think there's a reason for her to respond to you or like you or anything, well, then she will definitely think that. Another big one is being too much of a nice guy, and I'm sure you've realized by now how much being a nice guy has hurt you. And we won't go into this much because I think it's something that's very obvious. You're probably a very nice guy and it's gotten you nowhere. And of course, one of the problems with that, society kind of tells us to be a nice guy, but they just tell us that. And then what they really want is the opposite. And one of the hurdles you'll see in the future is you trying to come over these years and years of being the nice guy to realize that, really people don't want you to be that. They're not attracted to you when you do that. They don't even want to hang around with you when they do that. They just want kind of other people to, just get out of their way. Trying to get her to lead. So, what movie do you want to go to? What restaurant do you want to go to? What would you find fun? These types of things. Tell me. It's kind of like trying to tell her to get her to like you, right? It's like, tell me what you would like, and I will just give it to you. Tell me what you would like. Other things is just straight up ask her, like, what can I do to get a date with you? These are all horrible, horrible things. She doesn't want to lead. It's a game for her again. It's fun when the guy leads. When you lead, you make it fun for her. So don't ask her to, where she wants to go or what she would like. Don't try to get her to take the lead in the conversation either. A lot of times guys will say, tell me something fun about you. And I totally get what they're trying to do. I try to do the same thing myself. Magazines will say, oh, well, girls like it when you take an interest in them. And they may like it, but not be attracted to it. There's a difference. It's flattering when anybody kind of takes an interest in us, but it's not maybe a conversation we want to have. If you imagine like that old person on the bus sitting next to you trying to talk to you, it's not attractive. And guys will say, well, tell me something interesting, tell me your biggest adventure, tell me something exciting. And this is basically them saying, I don't know what to think, I can't lead this conversation, and it's awful, and she will not respond. And unless she's really, really attracted to you, maybe if you're really deep in the conversation. But even then, it's bad. Don't try to do it. Just lead the conversation yourself. Also, don't try to convince her to like you. A lot of times we will try to do that by saying, well, look, I've got this money or this job or I'm this perfect guy for you. You said you like guys who are this, this, and this, right? Maybe you should put that in your profile. You said you like this, this, and this. I'm like this, this, and this. We should chat. That's an opener girls get a lot online. is, you said you like this guy. I'm this type of guy. We should chat. We should go out. You should give me your kick. It doesn't work. No matter what she says that she wanted, what she really, really wants is this stuff here. And it's actually really interesting, funny, and I'm not going to go into it that much, but Match.com got in a whole lot of trouble a couple years back for finding out that girls put on their profile different things than that they really want. And they might say that they want someone who's open to having kids, and then they went out with people who weren't open to having kids. Or they say they want a guy in a certain age range, and they went out with guys a lot older. And so Match, trying to make their customer service better, started showing them more profiles of people who were like guys they previously went out with older guys who didn't want to have kids, things like this. And, women were getting mad at them, I said I didn't want to see profiles of anybody who weren't open to having kids. And then someone found out that Match purposely did this, that they purposely gave her guys she had liked in the past instead of guys that she said she liked. And they got really mad, and Match changed their algorithm back. But it's fascinating to know that when they did change their algorithm to guys that she, wanted to actually dated in the past and guys she said, they went out with more guys. Because women, believe it or not, don't know what they want. Also, a very big one is don't try to look for approval or her permission. This is kind of like the quintessential unattractive thing that guys do, that is, maybe we'll say everything else revolves around this. All this trying to convince her to like you, all this trying to get her to lead the conversation, all this other things that you see on her, are all just guys trying to look for her approval, trying to get her approval, trying to be told that they're nice guys, that they're good guys, and trying to get her permission to go forward. My little squeeze in the hand thing was a similar thing, and it's kind of give girls the creeps. That's the best way to put it. It's kind of like talking to a regular person, and then they mention kind of like something that, like how they like to stab people and eat their brains. And maybe they're possibly joking, but you're not quite sure. And if you imagine doing that and how you get this kind of creepy feeling about them, that's what women feel every time a guy seeks their approval or permission. Also, don't try to be a normal guy. I know everybody here kind of wants to be a normal guy. We just want to be a regular guy, and we don't want to be too odd or too weird. But when we try to come off as a normal guy, it's awful because she gets hit on 30 times a day as online, and even offline she'll probably get hit on once or twice a day by guys who are normal guys. And anytime that we remind her of those guys, we kind of lump ourselves into the same book, and she doesn't like us as much. She thinks it's, it's just this like every other guy that we possibly are. She wants someone who's not, I wouldn't say not normal. She wants someone who's, normal, but not average. She doesn't want an average guy. She wants a spectacular guy. She wants a guy who's funny and cocky and who leads and makes her feel great and who just does all these great things. But most guys will try to come off as average because it's less rejection. And you don't want to do that. You also don't want to buy her affection with food and gifts. It doesn't work. And it could backfire on you tremendously. In fact, being rich has gotten a lot of guys not laid. The opposite. It's ruined their being laidness because they will try to show it. You might see a guy try to brag subtly about his nice car or his, nice money or anything like this. And it's awful. If you maybe watched one of my other videos, 7 Most Dangerous Mistakes That Guys Make, you'll see that guys might often say stuff like, oh yeah, I'm barbecuing right now. And they're trying to subtly hint that if she comes over, she could get barbecue. Or they might say, I just got back from the gym. And they're trying to brag that they went to the gym. And all this stuff is awful because it reminds her of all the other quote-unquote normal guys who've done these things and who have caused her to feel really unattracted to them and want to stop talking. You also don't want to share how you feel too early in a relationship. This is something us guys tend to do a lot, mainly because we see it on movies, and of course it works on movies, but on movies, superpowers work as well. And in movies, girls like being told that you love them and how you want them and everything like that. In real life, they really, really, really don't. As you know now, that's pretty much you losing the game if you share how you feel. And of course, we'll have all these feelings, and we'll have all this, like, desire for her, and we're falling for her, or we're just getting this big crush, and we like her, and we're not sure. We get all this tension. We have all this tension about, like, where things are going, and we just want to say, I feel like, oh man, I really see myself falling for you, and she could say, I see myself falling for you too, and then we make out, and all that tension goes away. But that tension is what women find fun, and when you say how you feel, you lose all that tension, and you lose all that tension because you just lost the game, and she goes away, and she's like, well, he likes me more than I like him, and she loses all the fun that she's been having and all her attraction for you. You also don't want to give away all your power to women, or really any of your power. And this goes back to similar things before of, trying to get her to lead, trying to get her to, say what she likes, trying to get her approval. If you've notice your father, and of course never met your father or heard of him, but I'm guessing that your father is the type of guy who gave away all his power to your mother, and he's living a very, very unhappy life because of it, where, she might be like kind of like the only woman that he could get, or he's kind of like in this marriage that doesn't make him happy, and she tells him what to do and he just does it. And she's not happy, he's not happy. And this is largely because of it. And if that isn't your father, I'm certain it's one of your friend's fathers, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So, I'm going to wrap this up now. If you look below this video, there's probably something there. I often put things there. I don't know what I'll put yet. But, maybe there's a free gift or a link to another video that you could watch. Maybe there's questions you could ask. I might put a link to my ebook, which is 3 Days to Date and is wonderful. And if you haven't got it yet, not only is it great and going to accelerate you very, very quickly to the next level in your game, but also it's only $20, which is much, much less than a membership or a date, in fact, a money that you will spend with her on a date. And on top of that, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you could read it, you could try it, you could go on a date with many women, and then if you still don't like it, you could return it, and there's no questions asked or no hassle or anything like that. Just send me an email and say, yo, Adam, your book is fucked, I hate it, and you're shit, or, you don't have to be that rude. You could just say anything that's pretty much like, give me my money back, I want to return this book, please cancel, anything of this sort, and I will know what you mean, and you'll get your money right back. It might take a business day or two, but I have that guarantee, by the way, so that you have absolutely no reason not to get the book, and not to learn more of these wonderful, great things that you could do to get women attracted to you, to get them to go on a date with you, to get them to feel chemistry for you, get them to kiss you, and ultimately, of course, get the girlfriend. So that's all for today. I'm Adam Anderson, and you have a wonderful night.